Hi, my name is Reed, and this is Dean and President Justin Terry from the Trinity Episcopal School for Ministry, and I'm asking him a couple questions about the state of the church today. So, considering the current state of seminaries and seminarians in the Episcopal Church, what are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about the fact we get so many young students excited about the faith, keen to go on mission, open, flexible to whatever the call may be, and they are gifted, energetic, fun people to be with, and I think very able, and I think the future of the church is an encouraging one, if judging by the quality of people who are coming through seminary at the moment.
No, I'm excited about that we have some, and that they're young. I taught at Virginia for 8 years before I took this position, and watched the demographics change radically. And so what I'm excited about is the future of leadership in the Episcopal Church, and the energy of students who are coming to us.
I would say the thing that I'm most excited about are the number of younger people who are coming to seminary, and the number of students we have on the Canterbury Trail who have come to us without bishops and without long relationships to the church, but are attracted to it.
I'm really excited about the future, and that's a genuine statement. I think that the church is at a number of nodes of real opportunity where you could turn one way and it's a terrible crisis, and you can turn the other way and it's a real great opportunity. And the crucible of the kind of the refining fire at that time makes the very best ideas come out. We see it in seminaries. I hope we're seeing it in our Episcopal Church. It really is this moment in time to use a despised phrase, we really get to embrace a great crisis.
I think the thing that excites me most is the quality of the students that we see coming into seminary. They're ambitious, they are committed, they are hardworking, they are willing to ask new questions, try new things, and are not assuming that there is a place made and ready for them in the church, but that they will have to create one.
What are you excited about?
Well, I think there's much to be excited about in our seminary system. I think if you go back, say, a decade, a number of our seminaries were floundering, and we were trying to discover a new sense of mission, a new sense of purpose, a new sense of direction. And there were a lot of people who were significantly worried about the future of our seminary system and our theological education in the Episcopal Church. And I don't mean by any means to suggest that we haven't got some challenges ahead of us, but I think we've turned a corner. I think there were institutions that are weak that are now gaining strength, and institutions that were strong that are now getting stronger. Part of that is younger seminarians, part of that is different missional objectives, and part of that is the generosity of the church. But we have turned a very significant corner in our seminary system in the last, say, 5 years. And I think the future looks extremely bright and extremely focused on gathering leadership for the mission of the church.
Thank you. And considering the current state of seminaries and seminarians in the Episcopal Church, what are you concerned about?
Well, I do think we've got to keep a close eye on student debt. We realise that's a burden for them and for the churches they serve, so we want to continue to do all we can to minimise that. And it seems to me also it would be very good if we were able to find new ways, more ways of having students get some kind of apprenticeship, some sort of curacy experience when they graduate from seminary. I realise there are fewer of those now, but our graduates certainly don't expect full-time positions. They love them when they get them, but they're very willing to work part-time and then get that kind of apprenticeship experience. So it seems to me that if there are more ways of encouraging that kind of process of completion, if you like, of that first phase of their education, that would be a tremendous help.
It's too expensive. What I'm concerned about is that students are not going to be able to afford what we do. Can we continue to afford to do what we're doing in the way we've been doing? Now, for every challenge, there's an opportunity, and the opportunity here is now to rethink the structure of our curricula, the way in which we cooperate with each other, and the way in which we collaborate and network with other schools. This is a very challenging time for seminary education, but it's also a very challenging time for professional education generally, whether it's law school or even medical schools, and we're all in the same boat. But there is still this real thirst for theological education among lay people and folks who want to be clergy, and we have a tremendous asset in our seminaries to serve these needs.
Well, I think that I'm not concerned about the state of the seminary because the issues that we have with hard work we can deal with. I think that the thing that's most important now is to raise up a generation of leadership that can speak to this culture in a compelling way. And you can't do that unless you understand the gospel and its relationship to the culture.
Yeah. I'm concerned that our church loses its mooring as being truly the body of Christ, and by Christ I mean Jesus. That if we try to have a better food distribution or feeding program than the Ford Foundation, we're going to lose. If we try to do a better job of justice ministry through health inoculations in Africa, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will eat our lunch. But we have one marketing opportunity, to use secular terms, and that is Jesus. And if we don't sell Jesus, then we're not doing our job. That said, I fully appreciate the fact that the way you sell Jesus in Berkeley, California is very different than you do in Andalusia, Alabama, and that you do in New York City. Each have to be very clever in their context.
And considering the current state of seminaries and seminarians, what are you concerned about?
I think the big challenge for us is to find a way to deepen the attachment, the personal attachment of clergy generally and of the seminary that are producing now to Jesus Christ. That more than forming people for ministry in the church, that we need to form people for the ministry of Christ in the world.
I think if my principal concern is there are voices in the church for sure that I think we should listen to and honor and respect, that are really interested in theological education that comes by way of being inexpensive and being expedient. And I'm not sure those are the two principal values that ought to be determining theological education in the church. That doesn't mean, of course, that we certainly don't want to waste money, and we certainly don't want people to waste valuable time that they could be out doing ministry. But we've got to have something other than simply the cheapest way and the fastest way, because some of this takes time. You need mulling time, you need thinking time, you need formation time, and that stuff doesn't happen overnight for people. And so I think that the challenge is going to be resisting those who just need to do this the fastest and cheapest way possible, and instead do it well, value learned clergy and learned lay leaders, and recognize that to do that and do that well and to have that level of quality is actually going to be demanding, and that we can't take the easy way out.